We've been primed to think it might get used, and then it didn't. And then we get the surprise of, oh, we were wrong, it did get used. Not seeing him grab it isn't bad here because, look, we see there's something very uniquely satisfying about this choreography. We're gonna watch this sequence and see if you can catch it. Oh man, it was so good. It was so good. So what we're looking at is the use of the door, but there's something unique about it. It feels so satisfying as a use of a prop or set or a weapon or whatever. It feels so satisfying for three very interesting reasons. So let's figure out what those reasons are so that you can do this with your own choreography. The very first element, which is surprisingly rare when using part of the set in a fight scene, is that people are using the door already. It's been used naturally. Think of how many times you've seen a bathroom fight scene where somebody's gone through a mirror or a sink or something, and those things have not been used or touched in any way. They're thrown in for the sake of being something to throw someone through. They're not part of the story or anything like that. The door is integral to the scene and it gets used naturally. That's an important element. But the most important aspect of the door being there the whole time is that it looks like the guy getting kicked into the bathroom is going to use it. Like there's an opportunity for it to be incorporated into the fight and it doesn't happen. Right here, it looks like you see his hand glide along the handle of the door. So he's got an opportunity to grab it. And then his hand slides across the door and we see him grab something. He grabs the door frame with the other hand. So it looks like they've made the decision to not use the door in the fight. There's an element of, there was a possibility, they passed on it. So as an audience member, our brain kind of just goes, all right, forget about the door, it's not being used. The second reason this is so satisfying is because they set up two patterns. Block, block, block. Yeah, it's three of the same thing, but that's a pattern. Block, block, block. That's the pattern. And it also goes left, right, left. Left, right, left. Block, block, block. When they use the door, they still satisfy both of those patterns. Because it's a pattern that we're so used to, our brains predict the next move, right? That prediction is a big part of the element of surprise. There's no surprise without prediction of what's coming. Surprise is when we expect one thing and get something different, right? But surprise can be anything. Say I'm a magician, pretend this is an apple, and I've got a cloth here. Oh, and I take the cloth off and it's a light bulb. All right, that's a surprise, but it's kind of a non sequitur because it's just not related at all. But let's say I'm a magician, I take an apple, I cover it in a cloth, and then I remove the cloth and it's a baked apple pie that's steaming. It's more satisfying that it's related and that it's like an upgrade of the thing that you expected. You expect apple, you get an apple, but like a supercharged version when it's an apple pie. So this choreography could have gone like block, block, jump up through the ceiling. It would have been a surprise, but it wouldn't have been a satisfying surprise. This is satisfying choreography because we expect a block and we get one. It's still block, block, and a block. We expect left, left, right, and it is left. So it satisfies both of the patterns while upgrading to something. Left, right, left, but it's something way better. The final major element of what makes this so good is that we don't see him grab the door, which sounds like it should be a bad thing because I've gone on and on before about props coming out of nowhere, and that's terrible. You never want a prop to just come out of nowhere or a piece of the set to get used out of nowhere. This isn't the case because they've both interacted with it. This guy had his chance and we saw his hand touch it. We've kind of been primed to think it might get used, and then it didn't. And then we get the surprise of, oh, we were wrong, it did get used. Not seeing him grab it isn't bad here because, look, we see his hand just to the left of his neck, just for a couple of frames, but we don't see the moment he grabs it. So it's like a magic trick in that it's going, and when it goes behind something, it picks up an upgrade. And when it comes out the other side, we see the upgrade really quickly. That brief glimpse of the hand is kind of a big deal. Would still work without it, but it's gorgeous that it's actually there. Anyway, this is from a group called Dragon Lords. I will put a link to this fight scene and their channel in the description. Check them out. They're doing this thing right now where they're posting a short fight scene absolutely every day of the month of February, which is, that's a lot of fight scenes to put together. So check them out. They have a lot of fun stuff. They're being creative. Hopefully they don't mind me using their stuff for a video. Go make something fun.